Hi, today we're going to show you how to clean a chicken. As you can see, we've already got the legs tied up so it doesn't really start to mess around and jump around and to scratch you up. We take the chicken, we put him down here, and we're going to have to take a knife and cut around the neck so that we can bleed it out slowly and easily. The main reason you want to do that is because you want all the blood to come out of it, because later when you're cooking it and you see the blood in the meat, you're going to think that's a little bit gross. The way to get all the blood out of the meat is you got to make sure it drains out slowly and evenly. Okay, so, and then the next step is to walk over to the tree and hang it up and cut that neck. And also, I figure when we have people out here and we already have Okay, now there is a skill to this. What you have to make sure is that when you cut around the neck, you're actually cutting around the bone of the neck like this, so you get all the way around the arteries, all the way around the neck. You just don't want to slice it once, because then you're going to miss the entire vein. You might get it here, you might get it here. You want to make sure it goes all the way around without cutting off the neck. You don't want it to die too quickly. What you do is you take your thumb and you look for that artery like you would in your own neck, right in here. You just feel for that artery. And once you feel it, and you're going to feel it, and then just all the way around.
Hold up 1 second. Let me get another angle.
And then just feel the blood coming out a little bit. Yeah. Ideally, we'd have it in the cone so it wouldn't stick like that. Alright, that's fine. Okay, once you get your chicken and it's all drained out and you're sure that all the blood's gone out, it's been there about 10, 15, 20 minutes. What you want to do is you want to take it over to some hot water. Now the thing about the hot water is you want to make sure that it's not too hot, because then it'll start to cook the meat. And as you're plucking the chicken, the meat will continue to cook because the heat that's in there, and you don't want to do that. So you just want it to be hot enough that you can take your hand, stick it inside the water, and it's hot, but it's not too hot. And then just dip it in there, just enough to get it wet, because it's going to be very easy to take off the feathers when it's wet. And when you get it in there, you're going to want to move it around really fast so you get the water all inside there. If you just dumped it in and out, it'd be like a duck in water. You'd just be taking the duck, put it in the water, bring it out, the duck is still not wet. You need to make sure the water gets all within the feathers, all over it, because it's going to make it so much easier to clean it. Okay, now make sure you get the chicken going in the water and then watch him move it around. Like, and make sure you get all that hot water off of it. Cut. The trick to doing the chicken and the feathers is not to pull with the grain like this. You don't pull it out like this because it'll take too long. It's too hard. The skin is designed to hold on to the feathers, so when you're trying to pull it like this, it's going to be very, very difficult. The trick is that you have to go against the grain, just like you're going to sand some wood. So you take the feathers, and rather than pulling them straight out as if the chicken was standing up, you're going to turn them the other direction and go like this. And you see they just slide right off when you do that. So we'll just turn them around the other direction, against the grain it's called, and it just starts to come right off. Cut. Okay, cut. As you can see, you can grab a whole hand of them and take them all out at the same time. Well, it kind of looks a little messy, it kind of looks like a little gross, but you got to understand that when you're at HEB or you're someplace else, somebody else has already done this. This is for you to learn how to do this so that you understand what's going on, so that you have the confidence that you can do it yourself. Because at this point, a lot of people would just stop and say, man, this is too gross, I'm not going to do it. But you're hungry enough, you need to take care of your family, your people have to eat, and you have to keep doing this. Okay, cut. Now when you're plucking the chicken, you got to be careful about the pin feathers. What that means is that you can see where the feather goes into the chicken right here. You get the pin feathers. You want to make sure that they come out. So you don't want to just pull them up here at the top. You want to make sure that you pull them at the bottom so that you get all the pin feathers. Now, always at the end, you're going to end up with a few pin feathers in the chicken, but we'll show you how to get rid of those very, very easily after the whole chicken's been cleaned. Sometimes you're going to get the pin feathers, and they're going to be so small that you can't really take your finger and pull that thing out because it's just a little bit too small, it's a little bit wet, you can't really get it. So what you do is you take your knife and you take the edge and you just put it right under the pin feather like this. Right under it, you can see where it's coming out. Press down on it and boom, there it is, comes right out. No problem. Cut. Now, if it becomes a little bit too monotonous to do that, as you can see, we have a lot of pin feathers and they're very small here, and we could be at this for a while. What you could do is you could take the chicken, and when you got your grill hot, you could take it and put it on the grill, like this and this, and the fire will burn the pin feathers right off. Very crisp, very clear, and there will be no problem whatsoever. So either, you know, if you think you got just a few and you want to pull them out, or you want to turn them over on the fire, just to burn off the pin feathers. Either way works out fine. All right. Okay, now when you get your chicken clean, what you want to do is you want to take a look at the rip right here in the neck, the cut, so that you got all the way down to the neck, got all the way down to the artery that was in there. That's why all the blood was able to come out, because it cut all the way through all the neck muscles that were in the neck. Now our next step is going to be, at this point, is we're going to break off the legs. And everyone has their own way of doing it. There's really no wrong way of doing it so long as it gets done. What I like to do is, at this point, I like to leave the head on because I'm not done with the gizzard yet, and I'd like to take off the legs at this point. Taking off the legs is very easy. All you got to do is just bend it backwards. So you just take the leg, bend it backwards from where it was, and you see it just broke just like that. You take your knife, put it right up under here, and cut it. Cut. This one has a gizzard too. As you noticed, the last time you were looking at this, there was a huge gizzard. I mean, it looked huge up here, but this one, this gizzard is quite small. So he probably had eaten a day. As you can see, here's this much smaller gizzard. And make sure to pinch that gizzard. Get it out of there. Gosh, it broke already. It was so small that. I'm gonna wash it real quick again.
So the key that we're looking for is not to feed them before.
There's the crack I'm looking for.
There's some coil out
First couple times you do this, you got to get the hang of it.
here. Yeah.
You just want to cut the meat, and cut the skin. You don't want to cut the internal organ. They should just slide out all together. Go ahead and get a close up here, really close. As you can see the tendons, and you see the yellow stuff, it's going to be the fat. You just want to cut slowly through it. And you're wondering, hey, is this how they do it at HEB? Yeah, this is how they do it. They all have to cut it slowly so they don't cut those internal organs. Slowly cut around it. I mean, it's kind of like having a powdered baby's butt, you know? You just kind of, very softly, very easily, you just want to powder it. You don't want to slap it on there. And understand, this is food you're going to eat. And if you're going to eat it, you want it done in the most humane possible manner. You want it to be presentable. As you can see, we're already starting to get into the opening right in here. And this is what you got to be careful of. Just the tendons, just the linings, no organs. See, so far, no organs have been harmed in this operation so far. It's always better to cut too small than too big. You can always continue to cut later. Get a look right into here. Right up the old poop chute. You can see all the organs inside of here. You see the intestines. You see all the organs. So far they haven't been cut. All I've done was cut around the outside of it, just removing